Another 3 takeaway game and a win for the Packers. Let's see how they were able to do it and what they can still improve on. This is your Packers defensive breakdown against the Tennessee Titans. All right, first few plays that we're going to look at, we're going to focus on the linebackers. Obviously, the Packers had a huge second half, but at the very beginning, this is one of the early plays that the Packers defense has. And this is just going to be a traditional cover 3. And they're going to get wide open on the flats here due to the play action. So if we focus on all the linebackers here in the middle of the field, we're just going to see how easily influenced they were on this play. Again, it is first down, so you can see backers are beyond the line of scrimmage here. And in a traditional cover 3, you're going to have deep third, deep third, deep third, which means your outside linebackers have to be curl to flat, and then your middle hook zone. All right, so you're going to see the backers here that are going to panic. They're going to try to get back to their drop. I think Wilson probably could have gotten on his horse a little bit sooner. All right, I think he's playing too much with his eyes here. Because if he's able to just get straight back, look at the route, he's able to disrupt that play. But I think he's watching too much, playing spectator, and that's not really something that you want. And we'll be able to see this from the end zone angle. He's able to make a tackle there. But again, he can probably break it up if he's just turning around, getting on his horse after he realizes play action has happened. All right, so Wilson didn't have a very good start to the game. All right, up next, we'll focus on Quay Walker. All right, this is just essentially going to be a traditional cover 2. We've got press lock on the backside, but you're going to have 2 high safeties and then everyone playing the sticks, essentially. And Quay Walker is just going to get hit here with a little bit of a nod. Going to let him brush by outside, and then the tight end is just going to sit in the zone right behind him. McKinney does a good job here of crashing down. Right, he is supposed to be in that second half of the field, but he's playing his eyes on the QB. He recognizes Levis is pulling it, and he tries to crash down. But again, Quay Walker in coverage has not been great this year. Continues to have a very rough view on film, and I know I've been breaking it down every single week and kind of pointing out these plays. He has made some improvements in the run game, but in coverage it's tough. And then we'll focus on the third starting linebacker. We've got McDuffie. All right, McDuffie is here on your screen, and he's just going to get caught with his eyes in the backfield. He sees the play action, right, and he's just going to take those couple steps forward. But instead of, again, looking around, seeing what routes are out there, he keeps his eyes on the QB, and he's not going to be able to turn around in time to make a play. All right, so that play action, obviously by the Titans, that influences the backers enough where they come running downhill, and then it's just a quick flick of the wrist to get it over the head of McDuffie. So not an ideal start to the game, but of course this is one of only 2 touchdowns that the Titans scored the entire game. Packers are, again, in that cover 3 shell. All right, eyes on the QB. And this, everyone was able to see coming from a mile away. But it's just Will Levis throwing to Hopkins and an easy pick 6 for Jair. So this is just a simple all hooks. You look at the Tennessee receivers, 5 yards. They're trying to get some easy yardage here to start the downs. But the problem is, if you're going to run all hooks against a cover 3, right, especially with the Packers who have been playing a ton of vision defense, right, there's no one to threaten this corner vertically, right? And he's already playing off coverage, right? He's already 9 yards off the receiver, 8 yards off the receiver. So because Hopkins hasn't challenged him vertically, right, he's able to keep his eyes on the QB. he can see he's got the ball in his hand. He's throwing it. So that's all he needs to break on this. And it's just going to be the easiest touchdown of his career. Just walks in. Great job by Jair. Nice veteran play. And able to put 6 on the board for the Packers. A questionable decision there by Levis. This has been happening more and more on the film, but just beautiful coverage. This is a match zone, cover 3 buzz. Packers are able to get a 3rd down stop. And cover 3 buzz, again, we've talked about it before. You show a 2 high look, you've got 1 high safety, 1 that comes to play a hook zone. But just look at the communication between Nixon and Williams here. And it's just going to be effortless in terms of passing off this number 3 receiver. All right, so they pass him off. Now Nixon is able to play in between these 2 receivers. So if a throw does come in, he's going to be able to break on that. And he also has his teammates that are locking down these receivers. So he can attack the quarterback if he decides to scramble. So all these receivers are locked down. You still have McKinney as the high safety. So now you look at that transfer as well. He's going to crash up to make the tackle. What does McKinney do? He's now going to take over that receiver. So beautiful work on the back end here by the defense, keeping every receiver downfield covered, forcing a scramble, and still coming up to make a play. So I've had a few of these plays that I wanted to look at. Obviously, I'm limited to what I can do in a YouTube video, but there were several of these plays where the zone coverage was just beautiful. All right, up next, again, we've got a man that continues to flash. I'm a very, very big fan of Edgerrin Cooper, and we're going to see it here. Just a great run fit. All right, he's going to be waiting. He sees the cut. He's reading that cut in the backfield, and he's able to stuff the running back for a minimal gain. Of course, from this end zone angle, it is a much better view. We're going to see the flow. He sees the cutback. He knows it's going to be a little bit of a split action. He can see the gap close from Brooks here, and Brooks has been doing a very good job. So he knows that Brooks is going to take control of that gap. So Cooper is got his eyes in the backfield. He's able to see what the back is doing. There's a little bit of a seam there that he can see. And he's also anticipating that there's going to be a cutback. All right, so he's able to make a nice run stuff here. So he sees that gap close and immediately tries to fit in. So Cooper continues to flash. Here we've got the start of a flurry of sacks. Could have been a sack for Rashawn Gary here, but it ends up being a sack due to the pursuit of Lucas Van Ness. And this is just not so great tackle play by the Titans, and we'll see that much later in the game. Number 78, the right tackle, ends up getting pulled, but just good effort and way to finish this. He's able to keep that bend, get around. The tackle does a pretty good job, but Gary is able to get a hand on the ball, almost swats it out, forces Levis to step up, and at this point, LVN gets free and is just there waiting for a free sack. But up next, we're going to focus on Devontae Wyatt here. Does a good job of using his hands. He's got much longer arms than Peter Skoronski here, their left guard, and he's going to use that leverage and then just convert that to power. So he's going to get his hands on, and he's going to get control first, prevent that left guard from getting his hands on his chest, and then he's just going to drive. And that pocket collapses, and Wyatt is going to get a nice sack for himself, and we'll see it from the end zone angle. So Levis could do a much better job here of recognizing that pressure, but the problem with that is they're doing this long play action fake. All right, so they're doing this fake toss. Saw that in my Packers film review, the fake toss, but he's anticipating that his pocket is going to stay at this spot, but he's going to do that fake toss action. So he's going to take a step outside, and then he thinks that he's going to be able to return back to this spot. All right, and that's not going to be the case because obviously there's going to be pressure here off his left side. You get Preston that comes around the corner. And then you've got Wyatt, who's also bull rushing and is able to get to the same depth of the quarterback and cut inside and get him wrapped up. So excellent job by Wyatt. He's continuing to improve as a player. This play, we're going to focus on Eric Stokes. Makes a very good play against a screen. He's going to have some great recognition here. So he's just going to be waiting in the flat. He notices two of the linemen coming upfield at pass rush. So he can see the running back leak out. And he's able to get out in front. None of the blockers are aware that he's there. He's able to make a nice tackle at the line of scrimmage for no gain. We get to watch Quay Walker in coverage again. So here we've got a too high look, too high shell, and all the linebackers are just going to be too influenced by this play action. So here he's already at the line of scrimmage, right? You've got all three linebackers at the line of scrimmage as a result of that play action, and that's just going to open up the field here. All right, you've essentially, it looks like it's a cover 4 palms look, right? Stokes doesn't have a deep threat. You've got two high safeties, so this is essentially a palms. But because these backers get way too influenced, that is creating essentially a 10-yard gap between them and the receiver. So this is just going to be an easy completion. Levis is even late on it, so it makes it a little bit easier. But I feel like Levis, if he hits that drop and he just lets the ball go right away, right, that's a much easier completion, and D-Hop's able to get a little bit extra yards. So again, we'll see it from this angle, just how influenced they are from this. It's a little bit weird that they're influenced because the O-line doesn't really take the same approach, right? If we look at this double team, normally if it's going to be an outside run, right, which is what it looks like here, your left guard is going to be taking a wider bucket step to the outside to try to seal that outside shoulder. But instead, they're both just putting their hands on the D tackle. And it doesn't even seem like it's that much of a run look, but it's just enough to influence these Packers linebackers and get an easy completion for a first down. And one player who had a hell of a game is Enigbare. I believe he was the highest rated Packer this week. He definitely watched his film. So we'll just watch, the next few plays that I've got and just how disruptive he was. Obviously, we have this sack fumble. This is the play that got number 78 benched. All right, Enigbare is just going to come flying in. Sells the speed upfield, which causes the overset. And then he's able to take a quick chop step and club and get inside. And Levis is just not expecting him to be there. And LVN is able to fall on the ball. So from this angle, you'll see him put him on skates. Sets up outside. All right, he even gets his shoulders square. Right, so it seems like he's going to be trying to get that edge, but instead he's just going to take that one quick chop, swim, and gets to the QB. LVN with the awareness to fall on the ball. So 78 ends up getting benched after that, and it's just going to be a sack party afterwards. So we've got some more plays here. Pressure by Enigbare. Up the middle. Doesn't get the sack, but forces a rollout, and his teammates are able to get the sack. So this time he's lined up inside, able to get pressure on the center. That's some good movement by the Packers as well, right? So you're essentially going to have a slant that's on. So they're basically going to be moving one gap over, right? So it makes it very difficult on these guys in pass pro to be able to pass these defenders off. Right, so you're going to see that slant. He's going to get across his face. And now you've got LVN who occupies one of his arms. So it's going to be very hard for him to make that block. He's able to force the rollout. Preston Smith comes in, cleans it up. Gary gets a hand in there for a half sack. Then we'll continue looking at Enagbare. This time he's going to sniff out a screen. Right? Didn't know exactly where the back was, but he recognized immediately that this is a screen. So we'll take a look at this. He's going to see them set up just the tackle, but he sees a light little push by 77. He's going to push Wyatt upfield. And he knows, he just feels that it's going to be a screen. Able to sniff at that running back and make a big play for the Packers. Schematically on this play, I don't know what the Titans are doing. This is a two-man route. They had been getting a ton of pressure. And somehow, on a two-man route, Will Levis is getting sacked. All right, so we've got only these two receivers going out for pass patterns. It's only a four-man rush. And yet somehow they're able to get through. All right. So we're going to see on the inside, Wyatt keeps working and he's able to get that sack. He gets just passed off from the left guard to the left tackle. Will Levis steps into him. I don't know why he's even holding onto the ball or looking for the routes at that point. He knows it's only a two-man concept. And he's just not able to do anything. Even the Titans pass pro is just looking back as if the play has already ended, right? Because at this point, Will Levis should be rolling out and just throwing it away because there is nothing there, right? He's throwing it on 7 guys in coverage on 2 receivers. So I don't know if you consider that a coverage sack, but they get a sack out of it. And at this point, Titans offensive line just giving up all these sacks. It's time to bring pressure. Edgerrin Cooper coming in off this scrape, able to get pressure. He's going to start in the middle of the field here and basically just scrape all the way around and get this sack. All right, so you're going to have a little bit of a slant from these inside guys, which is going to open up a seam, and Cooper's going to be able to get there to the quarterback first with the help of 2 others. So sneaks in. And again, by him sneaking by, look at the stress it puts on 77. All right, 77 realizes, oh, shoot, this guy's coming off my left side. All right, so he's going to have to try to get hands on him. But then, oh, you've got Enagbare coming as well. And he's just going to be able to get in right behind. Gary beats his block as well. So just a great job by the Packers front there. And when you've got a backup right tackle in the game, you might as well just get everyone involved. This time they move Preston Smith over from where he normally is on the right side. They put him on the left side, match him up with this right tackle. He's able just to swat down his hands, and it's just going to be an easy sack. All right, gets his hands off, swims over the top, easy sack. So just great fundamentals there by Preston Smith. Might as well just join this sack party. And 71 just stood no chance. End of the game, again, we got cover 3, just traditional cover 3, nothing special. You got McKinney playing that post safety, and I think we all know what this play is. I think there's a lot of phantom pressure on Will Levis. He knows that he's been getting hit all day. And just look at the range here from the middle of the field. All right, so from the point that the ball is thrown, ball is out of his hands, and McKinney's still at the hash here. And he's just going to float along and make a play at the 20-yard line. So just incredible job coming from about the 32 at the hash. By the time the ball is thrown, making a pick at the 20, showing his range, showing the reason why the Packers picked him up. And you can see here, Levis, he feels pressure from Smith. I think he doesn't really step into this. Right? I think he feels that Smith is actually going to beat that block, and he's going to get some pressure because he's already bracing for it and just throws. All right, so not really the greatest throw. Kind of lobs it up. Jair does a good job boxing out Ridley here. and it's just going to be an easy pick for McKinney. 3 picks in 3 games. Definitely worth that contract. So overall, a great performance by the Packers defense. Pressure really changes things. It makes it tough for offensives. And of course, when you get pressure, you're going to get takeaways as well. Obviously got the forced fumble. You've got one of the interceptions as a result of the 8 sacks that they got throughout the game. But, you know, there are still some concerns at linebacker. I'm comfortable with the secondary after these first few weeks, comfortable with the defensive line, but we do have some concerns with our starting linebackers at the moment. And again, I think I talked about this in a previous video. Edgerrin Cooper, I wouldn't be surprised if he's starting by mid-season based on what he's putting on tape. So if you guys like this content, make sure that you subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.